Today I'm going to show you one of my favourite all-time 911 models. Yet it's one that's been completely overlooked and, dare I say, was the orphan of all 911 models, yet is now beginning to get its rightful recognition, and it is something really special. Okay, so this is my specialist subject really, because I really believe in these cars and I've had them so many times before, and I've owned this particular model for many years out of absolute choice. I really like them and I really believe in them. And this is a 911S. It's an impact bumper car, a 2.7, and they built them between 1974 and 1977. This particular one that I'm sat in is a 1976. I'll tell you why I think that they're really special. You have the qualities of a older long bonnet car, which include this beautiful delicate steering, and you've got a really torquey engine which gave it more pep really and was easier to drive than the 2.4s. You also had aesthetically, especially on one like this, which I'll show you in a minute, you had the very narrow early style of body, so it feels slim, it looks vintage, but actually from behind the wheel these cars always feel, or good ones anyhow, these cars always feel very together and something that you can travel with, yet they were completely overlooked. You've got equal size wheels and tyres, 6x15s. On this car it would have been the ATS, the cookie cutters, very lightweight and strong wheel, and unlike all later 911s which became a staggered tyre, a wider one on the back than on the front. So these cars had a very different feel and I really like them. So I think the next thing is that we ought to go and experience the drive. So performance, I'll throw some stats at you. Nothing special. Originally these were 165 horsepower, 5-speed gearbox. But quite clean through the wind, you know, narrow, small frontal area and stuff like that. That led to a 134 mile/hour top speed. But they were a little bit strangled for America, so this one now has probably got a few more horses rather than a few less horses, just with some changes to the exhaust. So it might be 175 horses and 1190 kilos. So it's lively. I mean, in modern terms, yeah, a lot of hatchbacks are quicker, but this is very nice to drive. You've got 4-wheel discs. On a 76, no servo. On 77, you get a servo on it, and it's just a car that's exceptionally engaging to drive. So you already know I love this, and I think this is a unicorn 911. It really is. It's so rare to have the combination of all the different things, which I'll show you in a minute. But first, one of the key things about value is something that somehow I think that people overlook in the excitement of buying cars, and that's the value of where it's come from. So we know the car. We've sold it a couple times before, and in fact it was me that originally found the car and I bought it for myself. Subsequently I made the grave error of selling it, and I sort of wish I never did. But anyhow, it's here again and it's up for sale. But we've already gone through this car from one end to the other end. We know it really well. We know exactly what we're selling and what you're buying. Then we support it with our own warranty, which of course used car warranties not worth the paper they're written on. Ours is, because it's our warranty. It's mine and Richard's name on it, and if there's a major problem, we'll look after it. And then beyond that warranty, it's how we support the car and you as a customer in the future. So if you're stuck on a mountain in the middle of nowhere and you need a wiggly wobbly bit sent to you, we're there. We'll help, we'll advise, we'll always try and look after the customer. And at the end of it all, assuming that you want to change one day, if you've looked after the car, we want the darn thing back. So I want to show you where the value is and what we consider that adds value to the actual car. Good model, 911S, not an ordinary 911 of the era. So that gave it 165 horses, a little bit more than normal, and some other nice things. Coupe is really good. It's a galvanized car, that's really good. And the cars with the bright work are definitely more valuable, more attractive. And this one then has a few little accessory items or options that would have come from the factory, like the bright work around the wheel arches and so on. But check this out. First of all, do you see how it's a light colour in through here? That's essentially primer with a little bit of paint that's been sort of blown over. That's a factory finish. So I know that that's original. Then you've got the Bilstein jack, the original jack, and a tool roll. And the tool rolls are unobtainable. Original spare. And you see the gold passivate plating on that and other areas of the car. That can disappear within 2 or 3 years in the wrong environment. So that's pointing to the fact that this car's been in a really good environment. And then you've got a VIN number up there. This car's VIN number 1678, and I think they finished at about 2,200, so it's sort of towards the end of the production of the 1976 model year. So originality, not restored. And it's an original low mileage car. It's done something like 50,000 miles. When I bought it, I think it had done 42. And the last owner took it around Europe and he did about 7,000 miles in 2 years with it. Another point to look at is when you go through the history of this car, you'll see that it's had really, really strong investment in the last 10 years. And one of the things that went into it is new Bilsteins and electric air conditioning. So this car's air conditioned with a modern system. That alone would have been probably £6,000–8,000 worth. It made it really, really nice to drive. Down here, Harry, here's the original colour code. Original labels. Non-catalyst car and the American opening rear quarter windows, which are cool. And beautiful engine. Do you see this gold passivate? I mean, that's 50 years old. Best part of 50 years old. And in this light, I don't know whether it will come out on camera, but you can see that down through the chassis rails, you've got the green on top and a little bit of sort of primer showing through, which is exactly the way it should be. This is something you could take, expect to use any time that you like, and expect that if you wanted to drive it to Italy in the summer, just fine. I had a very similar car like this, actually not quite as nice an example, and I was driving it to Austria every winter in -14, -18, and it's just fine. So that's what this car is all about. It's a perfect example of when you've got something really, really nice that all we can charge is maybe, the cost of really, really nice might be, what, 10, 15,000 pounds more than a very average one. But you'd never ever make a very average one as good as this for another 50,000 pounds. It just wouldn't happen. So the top of the market is where I think the best value is, if it suits you. If you're interested in it, I'm not going to see this ever again until it gets traded in. Cars like this come along so seldom that if it sort of suits you, then please get in touch with the sales guys and they'll be delighted to help. But it is a unicorn. It is one of my favorite models, and it's doing very well value wise, and will continue to do so now for the future.